St. Peter's Roman Catholic Church is located on West Street, Drogheda, County Louth in Ireland, designed by J. O'Neill and W. H. Byrne. St. Peter's is an imposing structure. Built of local limestone, it is one of the most notable buildings on West Street here in Drogheda. The building from 1793 was partially incorporated into the present building. The tower of the church is very similar to that of St. Patrick's Church in Duncannon, County Tyrone. The church is a prominent tourist attraction, but signs urge silence and remind people that they are in a sacred place. The church is famous for housing the national shrine to St. Oliver Plunkett, who was martyred in 1681. The shrine is most elaborate and contains the preserved head of the saint. Another showcase displays his shoulder blade and other bones as relics. Also on exhibit is the cell door of Newgate Prison, in which he spent his final days. Hi guys, and welcome back. So today we're in Drogheda and we're actually at St. Peter's Church, and you just got the glimpse of outside. We are going to go inside and I'm going to tell you the story, but it'll have to be a talkover because there are people praying. But we're going to visit St. Oliver Plunkett's head, his shrine. There's some bones in here as well. Very, very interesting story. So come on, let's go inside St. Peter's Church and visit St. Oliver Plunkett's head. Oliver Plunkett was born on the 1st of November 1625 in Lough Crew, County Meath, Ireland. Until his 16th year, the boy's education was entrusted to his cousin Patrick Plunkett, Abbot of St. Mary's in Dublin. As an aspirant to the priesthood, he set out for Rome in 1647, under the care of Father Pier Francesco Scarampi of the Roman Oratory. At this time, the Irish Confederate Wars were raging in Ireland. These were essentially conflicts between native Irish Catholics, English and Irish Anglicans, and nonconformists. Scarampi was the papal envoy to the Catholic movement known as the Confederation of Ireland. Many of Plunkett's relatives were involved in this organisation. He was admitted to the Irish College in Rome and proved to be an able pupil. He was ordained a priest in 1654 and deputed by Irish bishops to act as the representative in Rome. Meanwhile, the Cromwellian conquest of Ireland 1649 to 1653 had defeated the Catholic cause in Ireland. In the aftermath, the public practice of catechism was banned and Catholic clergy were executed. As a result, it was impossible for Plunkett to return to Ireland for many years. He petitioned to remain in Rome and in 1657 became a professor of theology. Throughout the period of Commonwealth and the first years of Charles II's reign, he successfully pleaded the cause of the Irish Catholic Church. He eventually set foot on Irish soil again on the 7th of March 1670, as the English Restoration of 1660 had begun on basis of toleration. The pallium was granted him in the consistory of 28th July 1670. The penal laws had been relaxed in line with the Declaration of Breda in 1660, and he was able to establish a Jesuit college in Drogheda. A year later, 150 students attended the college, no fewer than 40 of whom were Protestant, making the college the first integrated school in Ireland. On the enactment of the Test Act in 1673, to which Plunkett would not agree to, the college was closed and demolished, and Plunkett went into hiding. In 1678, the so-called Popish plot concocted in England by clergymen led to further anti-Catholic action. The Privy Council of England in Westminster was told that Plunkett had plotted a French invasion. Despite being on the run with a price on his head, Plunkett refused to leave his flock. He was arrested in Dublin on the 6th of December 1679 and imprisoned in Dublin Castle. Plunkett was tried at Dundalk for conspiring against the state by allegedly plotting to bring 20,000 French soldiers into the country and for levying a tax on his clergy to support 70,000 men for rebellion. Plunkett did not object to facing an all-Protestant jury, but the trial soon collapsed as the prosecution witnesses were themselves wanted men and afraid to turn up in court. Now, Lord Shaftesbury knew Plunkett would never be convicted in Ireland, irrespective of the jury's composition, and so had Plunkett moved to Newgate Prison in London. And this is the actual door of the cell in Newgate Prison, where Plunkett was imprisoned for 8 months. The first grand jury found no true bill, but Plunkett was not released. The second trial has generally been regarded as a serious miscarriage of justice. Plunkett was denied defending counsel and time to assemble his defence witnesses. Plunkett was found guilty of high treason in June 1681 for promoting the Roman faith and was condemned to death. In passing judgment, the Chief Justice said, "You have done as much as you could to dishonour God in this case. For the bottom of your treason was your setting up your false religion, than which there is not anything more displeasing to God." The jury returned within 15 minutes with a guilty verdict, and Plunkett replied, "Deo gratias," Latin for thanks be to God. Numerous pleas for mercy were made, but Charles II thought it was too politically dangerous to spare Plunkett. Plunkett was hanged, drawn and quartered at Tyburn on the 1st of July 1681, aged just 55, the last Catholic martyr to die in England. His body was initially buried in 2 tin boxes next to 5 Jesuits who had died previously in the courtyard in the Fields Church. The remains were exhumed in 1683 and moved to the Benedictines monastery in Lamspring in Germany. The head was brought to Rome, and from there to Armagh and eventually to Drogheda, where since the 29th of June 1921 it has rested in St. Peter's Church. Most of the body was brought to Downside Abbey, England, where the major part is located today, with some parts remaining at Lamspring. On the occasion of his canonization in 1975, his casket was opened and some parts of his body given to St. Peter's Church here in Drogheda. Oliver Plunkett was beatified in 1920 and canonized in 1975. The first Irish saint for almost 700 years and the first of the Irish martyrs to be beatified. For the canonization, the customary second miracle was waived. He has since been followed by 17 other Irish martyrs who were beatified by Pope John Paul II in 1992. In 1997, Plunkett was made a patron saint for peace and reconciliation in Ireland, adopted by the prayer group Campaigning for Peace in Ireland. St. Oliver Plunkett for peace and reconciliation. So this chair here is actually a chair that Pope John Paul II sat in when he visited Drogheda the 29th of September 1979. According to tradition, Saint Helena, mother of Saint Constantine, in 325 AD, at the age of 80, travelled to the Holy Land and found the true cross, the cross upon which Christ was crucified. Helena visited the Holy Land to view the places where Christ had lived and died. Tradition has several versions on how the cross was found, one being that Helena had a dream telling her where the cross was buried. She found 3 crosses under a pagan temple. To determine which one was the right cross, a dying woman was brought to the site. Upon being touched by the true cross, she was instantly healed. Helena was later made a saint and is noted for her many acts of charity. A portion of the true cross remained in Jerusalem. The remainder was divided between Rome and Constantinople. Within 15 years, Cyril, the Bishop of Jerusalem, reports the widespread distribution of the true cross as a relic. And that is what we're looking at now. Right guys, so that's all from St. Peter's Church here in Drogheda. An amazing story, an amazing shrine. If you like this kind of content, please subscribe, give it a like, and don't forget to comment down below. This is well worth a visit for anybody that's in the Dublin, Meath, Louth area. So that's all for now. Take care, God bless, and I'll talk to you all soon.